It's 500 times more potent than heroin. And tonight, the killer drug nitazene has made its way into vapes and sold on our streets. The alleged mastermind distributor, a 20-year-old man from Sydney's southwest, now charged. And police say his faceless drop-off system supplied hundreds of potentially lethal doses.
30 million illegal cigarettes, 400,000 vapes, a 10-year-old child used for money laundering, and a $70 million criminal empire hiding in plain sight. This isn't fiction, it's the dark underbelly of Brisbane's booming black market. Stay tuned as we reveal the full story of the massive Queensland raid that tore apart one of Australia's most sophisticated smuggling syndicates. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, because the crimes we expose are the ones most people never see coming. The raid that shook Queensland. It was a cold August morning in 2025 when a convoy of unmarked police vehicles rolled quietly through the suburbs of Brisbane. By sunrise, over 300 officers were in position. The operation, months in the making, was about to strike. At exactly 6 a.m., doors were kicked in. Warehouses, vape stores, convenience shops, all hit at once. Inside, officers found crates upon crates stacked to the ceiling. Boxes labelled as herbal products or plastic goods contained millions of illegal cigarettes, thousands of vape devices, and bundles of cash vacuum-sealed to avoid detection. When the dust settled, investigators counted 30 million illegal cigarettes and 400,000 disposable vapes, along with more than $2 million in cash and financial records pointing to an empire worth $70 million. What they uncovered was not a few rogue traders. It was an organized criminal syndicate that had built a shadow economy across the entire region. The Hidden Empire. The network ran deeper than anyone imagined. Dozens of small businesses across Brisbane, from convenience stores to vape retailers, were serving as distribution points. On the surface, they looked legitimate. They sold groceries, snacks, and branded vapes. But behind the shelves, they were stockpiling unregistered nicotine products smuggled from overseas. Police soon realized that this was not a single group of criminals, but a layered structure of operators, importers, distributors, launderers, and even innocent-looking families acting as fronts. Each level of the chain was meticulously organized. Importers brought in contraband using falsified customs paperwork. Middlemen handled logistics, moving the products to storage warehouses. Retailers sold them directly to customers, often under the counter. At the top sat a small circle of business owners and accountants, educated, clean-cut, and utterly ruthless. The shock, a child fronting a company. One of the most disturbing discoveries came during a raid in Brisbane's south side. Inside a family-owned convenience store, police uncovered company registration documents naming a 10-year-old child as the listed director of one of the shell companies. According to investigators, the child had no idea. The syndicate's leaders were using minors' identities to register businesses and bank accounts, a tactic designed to divert suspicion and complicate financial tracing. Authorities called it a new level of exploitation. The use of children in financial crimes highlighted just how far the network was willing to go to stay invisible. The global supply chain of crime. The operation wasn't confined to Queensland. Tracing import records led investigators across oceans to warehouses in Malaysia, China, and the United Arab Emirates. Each played a part in moving products to Australia. The shipments often traveled under false manifests, declared as plastic packaging, herbal tea, or consumer electronics. Once they passed customs, the containers were rerouted through trucking firms and independent couriers who unknowingly delivered to local warehouses. Intelligence analysts believe the group's logistics mirrored that of narcotics networks, but with a far lower risk. Smuggling nicotine, after all, carries softer penalties than drugs. And in a country where a packet of cigarettes can cost over $40, the black market profit margins are staggering. The money laundering web. If the smuggling was bold, the laundering was brilliant. The syndicate built a financial maze that blurred the line between legal and illegal income. Cash from sales was broken into small deposits, never more than $9,000, to avoid triggering banking alerts. These deposits were spread across hundreds of accounts linked to fake companies, family members, and even unwitting employees. Investigators discovered that much of this cash was later cleaned through cryptocurrency exchanges and property investments. Luxury homes, imported cars, and high-end electronics were all purchased under fake names. Financial analysts working on the case compared it to a modern form of ghost money, wealth that exists everywhere and nowhere at once. The social blind spot. For months, locals had no idea what was happening around them. The shops involved didn't look suspicious. Some even sponsored local events, offered discounts to students, and maintained strong reputations in their neighborhoods. One resident told reporters, "They seemed like a normal family business. You'd never think something like that was happening behind the counter." This anonymity was exactly what made the syndicate so effective. They didn't need weapons or violence, they needed silence. By operating within communities and projecting legitimacy, the group avoided attention from both police and competitors. It was organized crime without the drama. Silent, structured, and devastatingly efficient. The rise of the vape economy. To understand this network, one must understand the product itself. Australia's vape regulations are among the strictest in the world. Nicotine vapes can only be sold under prescription. That law, meant to protect public health, created a lucrative underground demand. When legal supply dried up, smugglers stepped in. What began as a small trade quickly ballooned into a billion-dollar shadow market. Criminal syndicates realized they could import cheap, unregulated vapes from Asia, rebrand them, and sell them at huge markups, all without the same risks as drug trafficking. The syndicate caught in Brisbane had perfected this formula. They targeted young consumers, pushing disposable vapes with candy flavors and flashy packaging. Many were falsely labeled as nicotine-free, but lab tests later showed high concentrations of addictive substances. Health experts warned that the devices were more dangerous than anything sold legally, and yet they flooded the streets unchecked. Project Smokescreen, the investigation. Behind the dramatic raid was an 8-month investigation known as Project Smokescreen, a joint effort between Queensland Police, the Australian Border Force, and the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission. The task force began by tracking import data, looking for patterns in cargo shipments. One suspicious container led to another. Gradually, they uncovered a web of interconnected companies and individuals tied to the same addresses, phone numbers, and financial accounts. Undercover officers made controlled purchases from suspected shops, confirming the illegal sales. Surveillance teams documented cash deliveries and late-night warehouse operations. When authorities finally moved in, they coordinated over a dozen simultaneous raids across Brisbane, Logan, and Ipswich. The scale of the operation stunned even seasoned investigators. The fallout. More than 40 individuals were detained. Several were charged with money laundering, tax evasion, illegal tobacco possession, and participation in a criminal organization. But even after the arrests, officials warned that this was just one head of a hydra. Similar operations are believed to be active in Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, each with its own distribution networks. The Queensland seizure sent a message to organised crime, but it also raised uncomfortable questions about Australia's regulatory systems. How could such vast quantities of illegal goods move freely across borders? How could fake companies and child directors slip through official checks? The answers point to a larger problem, one that extends beyond this single case. A global epidemic of financial crime. Experts estimate that illicit trade in tobacco and vapes costs Australia over $3 billion in lost taxes each year. Globally, the figure is over $40 billion. These profits don't stay in warehouses. They fund other crimes. The same networks smuggling vapes and tobacco often finance drug trafficking, cybercrime, and human smuggling. Interpol has warned that the illegal vape trade is becoming one of the fastest-growing sectors of organized crime worldwide, precisely because it hides behind something so ordinary. Every time a consumer buys a cheap vape off the street, they're unknowingly contributing to a vast criminal economy that thrives on exploitation, deception, and weak regulation. Lessons and reflections. The story of the Brisbane syndicate is more than just a police success. It's a cautionary tale about the evolving face of global crime. These aren't the stereotypical criminals of the past. They don't wear masks or carry weapons. They wear suits, run spreadsheets, and move billions through loopholes. The real danger lies in their invisibility. They exploit consumer demand, loopholes in law, and the convenience of modern finance. And while authorities can shut down one syndicate, dozens more wait to take its place, quietly building their empires, one illegal shipment at a time. Crime doesn't always announce itself with sirens and gunfire. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, through shop fronts, warehouses, and shipping containers labeled harmless. The Brisbane bust proved one thing: the most profitable crimes are often the most invisible. They thrive not on violence, but on opportunity and our willingness to look away. As the investigation continues, one truth stands clear: the global war on organized crime is no longer about chasing gangsters in the shadows. It's about confronting the invisible empires built on greed, deception, and smoke. If you found this story revealing, make sure to subscribe for more real investigative documentaries. We expose the operations that shape the world you live in, from hidden cartels to the silent wars fought behind corporate doors. Stay curious, stay aware, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous crimes look completely ordinary.